just click on this icon, it takes me directly to the MAR. And from here, you notice it says click to document. I can click on it. It has the order information, and here I'm going to fill out the administration details that it was given, today's date, the time. If there were any comments, you can place it here. Oral, 2 tablets. And I'm going to put in the NDC. Of course, we will get the NDC off the package. I'm just going to choose this one. Oh, no, not 500. No. 325. And the lot number, expiration date, whatever that would be based on the packaging. I'm just going to use this one. Right. Also, when giving medication, maybe it's a medication that the patient had supplied. Right. I'm just interjecting here. Let's say patient had, I don't know, maybe syphilis and had to bring in their own ABT, antibiotic therapy. Here is where we would actually click on patient supplied, so that this this allows, or prevents rather, for the patient to be billed for that medication. Okay. And also, if there is a medication component, there's also a place for that as well. But for now, it's Tylenol 325 given. Here is an associated flow sheet. If it's based on pain, we will also reassess within 1 hour of any interventions. So he did tell us mild. And also, this is also new, pain interventions. They just added this. Okay, and we can go ahead and click accept. Okay, any questions regarding administration of the medication, a CAM, or pending orders to a patient or to the doctor? I'm going to delete this and this. Any questions? Yes, you will be going to lunch. All right, no questions, please. I need to know so that I can move on.
We're good.
Okay, great. So now that we have done that, let me show you how to queue up medication refills for a physician approval. Let's say that Nadir needs to have his medication. I don't know, what do we have here? Let's say he needs to have his Lipitor. He needs a refill on his Lipitor. He lets us know, by the way, I need a refill on my Lipitor. You will go to that plan activity tab, which is the doctor's tool management, right? You will go to meds and orders. And you're pretty much just going to flag and let the doctor know that, hey, he needs his Lipitor renewed. How do I do that? There is that half circle, or that half arrow, circular arrow rather. I'm going to click on reorder. Right. And now you don't have to do that. Just click accept. Now the doctor will get get a note on his end that there's an order here for the Lipitor, to reorder the Lipitor. And we're going to append it. All right. So that's how you can queue up medications for the physician's approval. Pending will save that order, and the provider will go ahead and sign that order. All right, so what else are we going to do? We've already documented the test results. Let's go into documenting immunizations and clinic. We've already did the clinic administer medication. So I'm going to go into immunizations. Let me see, how much more do we have? We did the CAMs. And then after that, we can go to lunch. So let's do the immunizations. So let's go back. I'm going to close this chart. Okay, and we're going to take a look at our patient, our little patient, Naomi Albite. So I'm going to click on Naomi Albite. And as you can see, we can take a look at the snapshot for this patient. But for now, we're just going to double click on Naomi. And we are going to, and I'm going to skip all that visit information. We're not doing that. I just want to go over that workflow in regards to immunization. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually place, I would have to place an order. So I'm going to order this patient needs varicella because I can take a look at the care gaps. This patient is coming in for varicella. So I'm going to add that, a varicella immunization, right? I'm going to click on this, double click. And to save myself the time, I am not going to pen this. I am just going to, again, you, of course, on your, when you go on your sites, if this is what you do, you're going to pen these orders to your doctor. I am, for the sake of this class, going to change up here. I'm going to use per protocol, no cosign required, just so that I can get through this. Normal, routine, accept. Why does that say clinic performed? I don't know. We're going to sign it. You would do that. Give me 1 second. Let me get out of that. A and B. Why is it doing that? Huh. Try this one more time. There we go. Go ahead, click accept. Okay, so here it is. I have signed this order, right? Again, you wouldn't ordinarily do this. I'm just doing this to get through the lesson. So here it is. There is an order for this patient. How do I know to find it? Where do I find it? I can go here into, while I'm in the chart, look under the more and click on visit orders. And here it shows me varicella needs to be administered. So I'm going to go ahead and click on administer. And here it takes us to the immunization activity tab. And here it shows me that the varicella, I can either administer it, defer it, or delete it. Shows us who ordered it and the date it was ordered. I can also take a look from here, the administration history as well. I'm going to go ahead and click administer, put in my lot number, NDC, of course we will find on the package, site, right arm. Would help if I can type, right? Right arm. Subcutaneous, expiration date. And we could put in the next due if we need, if we wanted to. VIS published date. I believe here in the training environment, these are not the correct VIS published date because I know I had to do a test on this, you know, testing another site. When I went into logged in actually into a live production, it does pull up the correct VIS. So please don't mind this if it's incorrect. It will pull up the correct one in live production. Here it is. It was given by, if there's any comments, admin location, facility, we can add that if we want, but you know. Here it is asking us about the VFC status. This patient, let me see. I believe this patient has private insurance if I checked. Yeah, private insurance. So the patient is not eligible for VFC. Vaccine funding source is private. Did patient receive physician counseling? Absolutely. Now I am done. I'm going to accept. I know someone must have asked this question in regards to registry. Of course, it's going to, you know, it's interface. Everything's interface. The information will go to the VFC. And the immunization registry will be updated. So now we have went ahead and administered that varicella. Mom also let us know that, again, don't judge the timing on this. The mother has just told me that 6 months ago, the patient received the flu shot. So I'm going to go ahead now and add that information by clicking on the historical admins. I am going to look for the influenza, and she told me is the quad. Which one is it? It's the seasonal injectable preservative free. And she told me that she took it about 6 months ago. And she said the 21st. Okay. So now that I've updated this, should be the P's really. Oh, yep. Let's do that. Influenza, preservative free. What happened just now is I changed the template. That's also new. We never had to do that before. So that's new. So be careful what template you use when you are recording historical administrations. What we said, 6 months and -6, the 21st. All right. And now I've completed that. If a question was asked, a true or false, whether or not a particular immunization was recorded in the historical administration records. You would know to go to your immunization activity, because in the immunization activity is where you would find those recorded immunizations, right? Whether we gave it or wrote historically. Right. And we also understand in the MAR activity, this is where we look for those medications that were administered, not immunizations, because immunizations have its own activity. Hint, hint. Okay. Any questions regarding anything that I have gone over thus far in regards to pending orders and recording immunizations and administering medications? Any questions whatsoever? So the question was, what was the last hint? So again, hint, hint. If you were asked about a particular patient, I don't know, I can't remember which patient it is, but if you were asked regarding a particular patient, their hepatitis B status, you would know to go to immunization, and you can take a look at the historical administration record. Okay. All right, how do we document topicals applied to wounds in office, but outpatient setting? The topicals come from in-house pharmacy. So if you're going to, in documenting to document anything, there has to be an order, right? And if there is an order for it, then a task will come out of it where you can actually document that task. All right. All right. What time is it, Kendall? 12:13.
Yes.
So let me see. So when they come back, let me see, it's 12:15, 12, let's say 12:15. What do we want to give them, a 45-minute break?
It's pretty good.
All right. So everyone, I'm going to leave it at 12:15. So 12:15, 45 minutes would happen to be 1 p.m. Okay. So I need everybody to come back on time. Don't close out your Zoom, because I find when people close out their Zoom, come back from lunch, then they have all sorts of technical difficulties. Just leave your Zoom link open, come back at 1 o'clock, refreshed and ready to go on for a couple of other things that we have to go over. Okay, there'll also be some review questions that we'll be going over as well. All right, 1 o'clock. See y'all later. All right, welcome back to the session. I hope you all had a good lunch. If you are back, please place in the chat that you are back. Please place in the chat that you are back. Just let us know that everyone's back and we can continue in the remaining of the session. Hope you all had a nice lunch. Got to go outside and stretch your legs a little bit. I'm still working on this morning's coffee. All right. I don't see everyone is back just yet. While I have everyone coming in and stating that they're back, this is a matter of me checking in a little bit. How does everyone feel thus far in the session? You know, talk to me. Give me some feedback. Is it okay for you? You think you can do this now, once go live, you think you're comfortable doing it. The key thing to all of this is that, as you all know, your go live is in December 4th. Of course, that falls on our go lives always land on like the Saturday or the Friday night because it starts like in the hospital first, right? But then for those of you who are ambulatory, it starts on that Monday. And so the key thing is that, between now and then, do a lot of practice. You all have access to the playground. You're all going to be empowered with all this information. Even after this class, if not today, sometime later today, or maybe over the weekend, I will be sending out another email, a post-class email that will have attached to it a lot of different, goodies that, I like to give out, like keyboard shortcuts, nurse shortcuts, a couple of nurse tip sheets that I think you'll find useful. And the key thing is just to keep practicing. You have the playground, practice, 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 and more practice. Yes, yes, Marianne. And so the day of go live, hey, you've got nothing but, all that knowledge to share with your providers, because trust me, maybe some of your providers will be counting on you all. Some of you here in PROC may also be super users, to take in this information and, make sure that you share it amongst your peers and, the providers in your facilities. All right. So I think everyone is here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. And we're back to our schedule workspace. So I am going to, at this time, we're going to go over writing a note. Before I do that, however, there is a something that I have to make mention. We are not training this in Nurse Shared. However, we do have to mention it regarding therapy plans. So cancer clinics and infusion centers are typically very busy and fast-paced. At clinics, patients are often seen by providers on a very tight schedule, and infusion centers often see nurses treating 4 or more patients at one time. The use of therapy plans and supportive care plans are to order recurring infusion or injection orders to be administered in the infusion areas across the health system. Assigning a therapy or a supportive care plan. Hold on one second, please. Assigning a therapy or supportive care plan. Therapy plan and supportive care plans are ordering tools for outpatient recurring infusion therapy. Pediatric specialists will use the supportive care plans. Adult specialists will use therapy plans. Both pediatric and adult specialists will use therapy plans for IV line care. Okay, so that's my little verbiage on therapy plans. All right, so at this time, let me see. Before we go into, let me see what I have here. Before we go into notes, let's do something. I'm going to break it up a little bit here. Let's do this. I'm going to stop sharing this for a minute. And we're going to do a review. And in this review, I expect everyone, and I mean everyone who's in the session, to participate. It allows us to, one, see how well you're understanding the information, and two, it's also a way of attendance for us too here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share this. Give me 1 second. Kendall, what are they seeing right now? Are they seeing the PowerPoint slide itself or PowerPoint itself?
PowerPoint itself.
Okay, that's what I was afraid of. Give me 1 second. Right. All right, so they're seeing the slide now, correct?
Yes, now.
Okay,
Yes,
very
now
good.
they are.
All right, so there are going to be some questions that I want everyone to participate in. We'll be looking into the chat. Kendall is going to make sure to monitor that, to make sure that, you know, everyone is answering the question correctly. If there's anything that we need to review, we'll also take the time to review it as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the first question regarding finding my patients for today. Can you change the report you are viewing? And before you answer, think about what the question is asking. Remember, what reports are we referring to? Can you change the report you are viewing? Yes or no?
We're getting some yeses.
Okay. Okay. So the majority is yes, and that is correct. Yes, you can change the reports you are viewing. Remember when we went down to the report pane, we had only 2 reports and we decided we wanted to add 2 more. Very good. How do you add a report button to the toolbar? So far I have 1 answer. Any more? Come on. Very good. The wrench. The wrench. Click the wrench button. Remember, Home Depot, Lowe's. How do I modify my settings? By clicking the wrench. If you add a report button to the toolbar, will the button be there the next time you log in? Yes or no? Very good. Very, very good. Yes. Yes, I see that most of you, all of you had a great power lunch. Great. If you want to review a patient's information before he or she arrives, should you open the visit? Yes or no? Very good. No, just single the appointment, then review the reports below the schedule or click chart to see the patient's full chart. Very good. Next question. Are all messages available from your schedule? Are all messages available from your schedule? Nice, nice, nice. You remembered. I think this is the first class I've ever had 100 on that question. No, only certain patient-related messages that typically require quick follow-up. Of course, this is referring to the card view, right? Next question, key takeaways. Single click an appointment to view patient information. Change reports to view additional patient information. Click the wrench to add buttons to your report toolbar, and click the header above the schedule to add providers to your schedule. All right, next, rooming a patient. True or false? In the visit information section, a standard set of buttons appears and you must choose one of those reasons, true or false.
We have some mixed answers here.
Okay, so let me see if I could jog your memory a minute. So you remember when we were in the visit information section, there were some speed buttons that showed us what was it, knee pain, diabetes follow-up, what else, sore throat. Those are your speed buttons that it's referring to, right? And remember, I also said that you can use those buttons to state why the patient is coming in, or you can choose to add to them, or altogether you don't feel like doing any of that. You can just go into that box and type in the reason why the patient is coming in, and pretty much free text it. So now that I've said all of that, is it true or false? Right. You're absolutely right. It is false. False. The buttons are specialty appropriate. Remember, I said that you could be in the OBGYN department and those buttons are pertaining to OBGYN, while in P's there's another set of buttons. Right? And if you don't see the reason you need, you can enter it in the reason for visit field. You can also customize the buttons that appear by clicking the wrench to the right of the buttons. So the answer is false. To close the current section like vital signs and open the next one, what key do you, look at that. Y'all even said it before I finished. Very, very good. I'm so happy. Yes, F8. To navigate. Very good. I am so proud of you guys. In the vital section, if you need to add a second blood pressure reading, what should you do? Think back. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yes, you're going to click on the new tab. You know what this tells me thus far, Kendall? That they're going to do awesome on the assessment. I'm seeing hundreds here.
Yep, I'm sure of it.
I'm very sure of it. All right, true or false? If the patient's storyboard says no known allergies, that means the patient has never been asked about his allergies. True or false? Very good. False has it. Absolutely. All this means is that the patient has been asked and has denied having any allergies. So someone has selected the no known allergies checkbox in the allergy section. Very good. All right, here's another. Let's see if I could trip you all up with this one. True or false? Clicking the red X in the medication section is a shortcut to indicate that the patient is not taking that medication. True or false? Okay, the question is either true or false. True or false. And if you said false, you are correct. There is a separate, you recall, there is a separate not taking button that should be used to indicate that the patient isn't taking a medication on the list. Clicking the red X discontinues a medication and removes it from the list. But we do not have any dealings with that red X, right? If the patient is not taking a particular medication, we will click on the not taking button. However, if we have placed information, like in the case of the example we got where our dear Nadir tells us that he's taking vitamin E when he really meant vitamin D, we've already placed in vitamin E. So we placed that in error. So we're going to go ahead and click on that red X, delete it, and replace it with the correct medication. Okay. Placing orders. So take a look at the status. Remember the status, right? If we see the order has a green circle, we know that that is a standing order. If we see the order has a purple square, we know that that is a future order. And then we have the status normal. Review questions. How do you add a point of care test, lab, or immunizations to your personal preference list? Now, I did kind of say this. Oh, yeah, great. So somebody got it. Very, very good. I said it, but I kind of, I didn't like push it, but everybody got it. Great. You click the star to add a point of care test, lab, or immunization to your personal preference list. Very, very good. Y'all doing an awesome job. If you want a lab order to be performed 4 times, once every 3 months, what order status should you select? Well, everyone should get this. And that is correct. It is a standing order. Ordering and resulting a point of care order. If you have completed documenting results for an order, change the status field to what? Answers are still coming in. I hope everyone is participating. And the answer is final. Absolutely. You got that correct. Good. All right, let's see. Documenting clinic administered medications and immunizations. So if we all recall, right, if we're going to document immunizations, there is the activity tab called the immunizations activity tab, right? And if we're going to record medications, clinic administered medications or CAMs, we use the MAR activity, okay? Only when a medication is ordered with an in-clinic details, and that is with the syringe, the medication appears on the MAR, and a clock icon appears in the patient's meds due column on schedule, which we saw when we placed that order on the Tylenol. True or false? Use the MAR to document all immunizations and clinic administered medications. And I want to think that this is the first time that I've been teaching this, that I've gotten a class that actually got 100% on this answer. It is false. Absolutely. Only medication administrations are documented in the MAR. This part I'm going to give you a free because we haven't really gone over it yet. So I'm just going to answer it right here. Where do you file medication administration charges? And that is in wrap up under the charge capture section. I'll show you that after we finish this review. So some key takeaways: use the MAR to document medication administrations. The clock icon in the meds due column on the schedule is a visual cue and a way to get to the MAR activity, right? Because when I see that clock icon, I could double click on it and it take me right to the MAR activity. File administration charges in the charge capture section of wrap up, and we'll see that in a little bit. Documenting immunizations. True or false? Use the immunizations activity to document all immunizations, patient reported and new. Very good. True. This I'm also going to give because it's here because in the past there has been a blue dot, and because of this whole upgrade, I'm not even sure you're going to see a blue dot when you go to where you're going in your different sites for live production. So I'm just going to just give it to you. So if at any given time you happen to see a blue dot after some orders have been ordered, or just see the blue dot in general, just go and check your visit orders report. In the past, a blue dot would show up and that let us know that, hey, something was ordered for this patient. Let me go to the visit orders report and see what that is, right? But with this new with the new upgrade, I'm not even sure if they still have that. So, just keep that under your hat for, just in case. So all immunizations are documented in the immunizations activity. Patient reported, you choose the right option based on single or multiple. Immunizations to administer, again, that blue dot, not sure about that anymore. Blue dot on appointment slot means there is a task for you to complete. Visit orders report and schedule tells you what was ordered. And this one I'm just going to go over real quickly. Charge capture. So basically, there are what is called the automatic charge triggering. So for immunizations, for instance, once it's been given and all that information has been placed in it, the charge will drop automatically. The charge will trigger automatically. Same thing with clinic administered medications. Once all this information goes in, the billing code will be pulled from once you put in the NDC and the lot number and the action is given, the charge triggering is automatic. The POC, automatic charge triggering. You remember what I told you? As long as that status is final, all is well in the billing world, then that charge is triggered and the charge is dropped. That's why it's very important once we have resulted a POC, we must have a status of final. Everyone in the world of billing will be happy. Okay, the next part is writing notes. We haven't reached there yet, so I'm going to now stop sharing this for now. All right. And there's a couple of things while we were going over that review, I realized that I haven't shown you. So let me go back in here. So one thing that I didn't show you, which my mind was just toggled just now. Let me see. Can I go to Nadir? Nadir would be a good one. Let's try Nadir. I'm going to do another patient. Let me see if I could use this one. Let me see. I'm thinking of an order. I want to show you if an order was placed as a future, what happens when that patient comes into the office. So let me try CBC. Future. Up. Future, and I'm going to go ahead and just sign it per protocol. No sign. I think this is good. All right, so here it is. I placed this order and the order is placed on a future. The patient comes back at a later time. How do you, how do you, I guess, release this order, right? So this is what will happen. Patient will come in and you will actually see, if I was to click on Naomi, there should be something here under visit orders that shows that there is an actual order here. And as you can see, it says released, right? If I was to hover over it, go to order review to release this order, right? Or you could have just opened up the chart, go to order review, but let's follow through with clicking on the link. So patient comes in, there's a future order. I have to release this order in order to complete the task. I'm going to click on release. It's going to take me to order review. I have some open orders here, right? Here's that CBC. I can now go ahead and release this standing order. Of course, there's going to be a problem because it's the training environment, but just to tell you what is the next step. So once I have clicked on it, it is now no longer going to be a future. It's ready. It's released. What's going to happen is that you will have somewhere a printer is printing your requisition and your labels. If for whatever reason you need to reprint, you can reprint the order. And if you need to reprint your labels, you know that we already learned this. You can just type in labels, jump to patient labels. Any question regarding future orders at all? That's how you deal with a future order. Any questions? All right, let's go on. We're going to go into writing a note. Do anybody remember who are we going to write a note on? Let's write a note on Nadir. We've been using Nadir up today. Let's just use Nadir. I'm going to use Nadir. And we're going to navigate to our notes. Do anybody remember where we find notes? Anybody? Where do we find notes? Where we find our notes activity? You want me to review the future orders. Okay. So here it is, the patient Nadir. Was it Nadir? Who did we use? Christy? Patient comes in, says that there's an order for the patient to have their blood drawn. I think it was Naomi. If I click on Naomi, she might not even be on the schedule, right? She may be somebody that I actually have to do a search for, or maybe the patient came in and I have to create a some sort of encounter. But either way, once I open up that information and go to visit orders, I will see that the doctor have placed an order, a future order, to have blood drawn on this patient. Right? So I've opened up this, open up where I can find the information under visit orders, and I'm going to go ahead and click on release. Click on the release link. It will take you to what is called the orders review activity tab. As you can see, it reads open orders. Here's that future order. The status is future. Even if I quickly didn't see the status, I know that that purple square means that it's a future order. So here it is. I have a future order and I need to do what with it? What do I need to do with it? If I was to look up here, I can see that I can release it. Once I release this order, there's a problem. That's why it didn't go through all the way. This is in the training environment. So certain parts are not completed, but that's okay. Once you have clicked on that future order, the next thing is going to happen. Your labels will print. It will be released so that you can now go ahead and collect the specimen. Once it says release, there will be something here that says collect specimen. You'll click on the collect specimen. Your labels will print. Your rec should print. If you need to reprint your rec, you could go to reprint. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Any questions regarding future orders? Are you just showing how to do this and this is not orders that are in the chart already? So I don't know if you missed it. You recall that I because I have to show you about future orders. So what I did was I placed an order, right? I placed it as for me, because it's the training environment and I didn't feel like having to place this order, pen this order, switch my hat to the provider to sign the order, to go back as a nurse. I did a shortcut for me, for the sake of training, right? So an order was placed, and you recall that when an order is placed, we would if we wanted it to be a future order, we would change the status. The status we use was future, right? Because this, you see the purple square? That lets me know this is a future order. So the order was placed, like again, this is all pretend, right? Orders was placed, the patient comes in a week later, hey, the doctor placed an order for the child to have the CBC drawn. Okay, so now I can open, whether I go into the chart, or maybe depending on your facility, patient comes in that has to have blood drawn, has to register in the front desk so that an encounter be created. Then once that patient has been checked in, you can look for the patient's name, right? Because the patient will be on the schedule, right? We go to visit orders and we can see that there is an order there and we know it's a future. How do we know it's a future order without even looking for that square? Because it says release. So I'm going to click on that release link. It opens up to the order review activity. There's that future order. I can see that it's future. I see my little purple square and it says future. And then I'm going to release it. Once I release the future, I can't do it here in the training environment, but once I release the future, what's going to happen? Under the visit order, you remember anything that has to be collected, it will change from release to specimen collection, collect specimen. And then I can go ahead with the regular workflow of collecting a specimen. Okay? Understood? Was that okay? Everybody understands that. The more you do this, just play around with it. When you're ready, go into the playground, play around with it. It's easier to see it, do it yourselves than to me just really explaining it. But like I always tell folks, right, this may be a new EMR to all of us, you know, based on Epic, but you know what, the work is still the same. So we understand that whether we work in Cerner or Athena or what have you, we know that an order is placed, right? The order is placed, we have to go and collect the specimen. If it's a future order, patient comes in, we still got to go and look for that order. So really the process doesn't really change maybe, or the task doesn't change. Maybe the process change. All right. All right. So that's future. Let me see. Was there anything else that I wanted to show you that? Yeah, I think that's it. So now let's go into notes. As you recall, your notes activity is found in the sidebar. So I'm going to go ahead and click on notes. All right, so I'm going to teach you a couple of things in notes. And one of the things I want to teach you is called the smart text tools, how to create your own smart phrases and the like. Okay, it also, those type of tools helps your documentation to go a lot faster in some cases. So I'm going to see if I could set up a scenario here. So I'm going to show you how to use a smart text as well as creating a smart phrase. Let's say Nadir, and we're in the wrong chart. See? So I'm going to close this chart and open up Nadir. Nadir. So go to Nadir's chart. And let's say Nadir called after his visit because he forgot he ran out of his metformin medication. I will show you how to document the call in a later example, or a call in general, really. Let's focus on writing the note for now. We can pull in a smart text to make documentation quicker. And so we're going to go into notes. I'm going to open this up just a little bit. And you see these, all these different icons here. These let me know that I have what is called smart tools. And there's so many great uses for the smart tools, and we're going to see that momentarily. So let's say that you write a note, and we see patients, a lot of patients during the day, and sometimes we write the same thing over and over again. Let's say we are typing this, let's say, let me think. Let's say I work in endo, and this patient reports patient reports normal glucose levels. All right, maybe this is something I realized, man, I type this every day, 40 times a day. Guess what? I can actually create what is called a smart phrase. So how do we do that? So in Epic, there are more than one ways to do things. So to create a smart phrase, here's one way I'm going to show you. Let's say that I started typing something and I realized this is something that would be great for a smart phrase. I've already typed it. I'm going to highlight it and select it, right? I am going to now take my cursor and right click. Once I right click, we'll see that drop down. I'm going to take my cursor to smart phrases and bring my cursor over, create smart phrase from selected text. I'm going to click on it, boom, and it's going to ask me, do you want to create a smart phrase from the current patient's chart? I'm going to go ahead and click continue. That's one way. Here's a second way of doing this. So I have this text. I decided that, I type this all the time. I'm going to create a smart phrase. I am going to select this text like this, and there is this plus sign, create smart phrase. I'm going to click on the plus sign. Do you want to create a smart phrase from the current patient's chart? Absolutely. Click continue. So now here I have that line of text that I have decided I want to create a smart phrase out of. Here at this point, I can format it any way I want. So let's say I decided normal. I'm going to make it bold. And I like the way this looks. I'm happy with this. I'm going to go over now to the left. And you notice that stop sign. That means that, hey, there's something that got to be filled out here before you continue the process. And that something happens to be, you have to give it a name. Very important. If you're ever doing anything that requires you to create your own name, like give it a name, always start off with your first three initials. Mine happens to be CLJ. And the name. So I'm going to call this normal glucose, normal glucose. And I'm going to tell you why it's important to name anything that asks of you to name it with your initials. Epic is a great system. I've worked in other systems, and I can tell you from my experience and from my opinion, Epic is a great system. However, whether it's a great system or not, all systems go through this where things break, things, things end up breaking where it doesn't work the way it should. So here it is, you create your smart phrases or your smart text or your templates, and it's not working the way it should because maybe the system crashed at some point, maybe part of the server, whatever. So here it is, now you got to kind of like rebuild your smart phrases and your smart text, but you're not really rebuilding, it's out there. You just got to find it. Could you imagine we are working in an enterprise? There are 3 different campuses, so many different specialties, so many different staff members. And suppose like maybe out of all of the employees that works on the 3 campuses, everyone has a smart phrase called normal glucose. Could you imagine what you have to go through to find your normal glucose? So the best thing to do is always put your 3 initials. So this way, God forbid, you ever have to search for anything that you've created, you can at least search for your initials. So anytime you create anything, anytime they ask you to name anything, always start it off with your first 3 initials. So here it is, I've created it. I've called it CLJ normal glucose. I can go ahead and put a description if I care to. The text format, I'm leaving that rich text. I'm not changing anything up here. I could even use synonyms here, normal glucose. But at the bottom here, it says sharing. I see that my name is here and I'm the one that can edit. Maybe there's a group of you in your department, or maybe someone else in another department who have great smart phrases. They're great at creating smart phrases and smart text and all sorts of things. And you don't mind sharing, each one of you just share amongst each other. I could put another name here, allowing that person to pretty much get a copy of the things that I've created. We're sharing amongst each other, right? However, whatever name you put here, I always tell folks, never give them the power to edit your, in this case, smart phrase, right? Because when you've created your smart phrase, you want that every time when you go to use it, you're able to use it the way you intend it to be used, right? You don't want to have that situation where, okay, I'm sharing it with nurse B and I'm giving her, she's not going to change up anything. I'm going to allow her to edit it. Then one day she decides, this should be here instead of here. And she edits it. And then now when you're ready to use it, it's all amuck, right? So share, but never give the power to edit. A person can share, you can share it to them. They can have a copy of it and share and copy a copy of it and edit a version of it for themselves. That's different, but never give anyone the power to edit your creations. So this is fine. I'm going to go ahead now and click accept. Click accept. And so now I'm going to show you how to invoke it. Let's take this all out. I have a blank page, blank note. I'm like, I want to write that the patient reports that, he has normal glucose levels. I have a smart phrase for that. How do I invoke it? Well, there's a thing called dot phrase. I'm going to go ahead on my keyboard. I'm going to click on the period or a dot and click dot and type CLJ. And guess what? It shows me my smart phrase. I can go ahead and double click and it pulls in my smart phrase. That's one way to invoke it. Here's another way. See this guy right here? When we were learning Epic, we were told that this is called the butler. I like to call it my guy. This is my guy who's holding my bag. And in my bag is my stuff. So if I need to pull anything out of my bag, I'm going to go to the butler. I'm going to go into my bag and I'm going to find those things that I've created. And look at that. There's my smart phrase. Here I can edit my smart phrase if I choose to. I could preview my smart phrase. I can add it to text. I can add and close. Or I could double click, but I'm going to add and close. And there is my smart phrase. Any questions regarding creating your own smart phrase? Any questions, Kendall?
None so far.
All right, great. So everybody gets that. It's a pretty neat tool. And, you know, and your smart phrase could be as long or as wide, however, you know, play around with smart phrases. They're great tools. Something else I failed to show you. Hold on. I'm going to take this out. So here it is. I have this note, and if you notice over here, share with patient is defaulted. Now, there shouldn't be any reason for you not to share a note to the patient. There shouldn't be any reason, but I have to show you this anyway. So it's defaulted to share with patient. Let's say you work in psych maybe, and you know, you're not supposed to share your notes for the patient, right? We would make sure we turn off the default. So now we're saying, hey, I'm not sharing this with the patient, but there is a line of text that have to be included in the note if you are not sharing with the patient. And there's an actual smart text we can actually bring in instead of having to type it. So here's what we need to do. So I'm not sharing with the patient. I have to invoke this line of text. So if you would, it's .reason, .reason. Once you click that or type that, you will see that there are these options. The option I'm looking for is reason for not sharing. I'm going to double click it. And now it pulled in this template, right? If you pull in a template, I am now going to give you the next line of rhyme, which is F2 to pass through. So if I take my cursor, because I have included this template, I'm going to put my cursor to the very beginning, and I am going to click on F2 to pass through. And what F2 does, it takes us through the template, places us at those places that we need to fill out, right? Fields that need to be completed. All right. So here is the field that it brings me to. And if you notice this, it's what we call a smart list, right? A smart list. We'll go over some more smart lists later, but this smart list, a yellow smart list, tells me that I have some options here, but I can only choose one option. So I'm going to type, I'm just going to use the last one. And I'm going to give you another line of rhyme. So I'm going to so what we're going to do is we're going to click on this one, but we're going to use our left cursor, right? Our left clicker on the mouse. So left to pick, right to stick. So we're going to stick it to the note, right? And so now I have that line of text because I am not sharing this note with the patient. And I have to have that line that says why it's not permissible, why we're not sharing this note with the patient. Okay. But that is not the case. So we're going to delete all of this. And I'm going to put it back to share with patient. All right. So we did the smart text. So now I'm going to pull in a template. Let's look for a template. Now, in all of your different departments, there may be some smart text or templates that have been created for your departments. I do not have a list of those, but you can do your own search for different templates that might be, suitable for you to utilize when you're doing your documentation. So I'm going to search for one. I think it's called medication refill as an example. Is it this one? No, I don't like this one. I think it's called specialty refill. Let's see, it's this one. Okay, this one. This one give me a little, a lot of different things to introduce to you here. So you remember what I told you, when you are pulling in a smart text, this is considered a smart text or a template. You have to utilize what is called F2 to go through. It's very important. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my cursor to the top, and I'm going to click on F2, which will take me to the first field. But before I do that, there are some colors here that I need to show you. If you see highlighted information in yellow, these are called smart links. Okay, smart links is information that has been pulled out of the chart, the information of the chart, and placed it in the note. So this template, and I'm going to give you a little background, putting together background of this, when whoever created this template, right? When they created it, they probably put something in here that said, let's say they put the symbol, you know, the @ sign, at PT name at. That's at patient name at. So in that template is giving it a call out, and that when you reach this point here, I want you to pull out that information from the patient's chart. That is called a smart link. So the smart link for a name of a patient was pulled out. So we have the name of the patient, we have the age of the patient, the gender, his pronoun. And you know why it's important that we show that we reviewed and verified the information? Because it actually can be pulled into the chart that this information, the tobacco, allergies, meds, and etc., was reviewed and verified with the patient. All of that is information that was pulled outside of the chart, from inside the chart, from the chart. So those are called smart links. Okay. So again, we go into the top of the chart and we're going to do F2 to pass through. Click my F2 and it takes me to that first field that needs to be completed. And this field happens to be a smart list. We saw a smart list earlier. It was yellow, right? So there's a difference between the yellow and the blue. This blue one, it gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 options, right? The yes, the no, not applicable, and these 3 asterisks. In a blue smart list, it means that I could have 100 options and I could choose all 100 if I care to, right? In the yellow, like we saw earlier, I had 3 options, but I was only allowed to choose 1. Okay, so here in the smart list, this is a multi-select option list. And you remember how to pick a option? It's left to pick, right to stick. Once I have done that, it will take to the next field. So I'm going to say that the doses were confirmed. I'm going to say left to pick on yes, right to stick. It's going to take me to the next one. Changes to medications. I'm going to go ahead and just say no. Left to pick, right to stick. It takes me to the next one. Changes to insurance. No. Left to pick, right to stick. Now it takes me to another field. It takes me to this field that has 3 asterisks. Those 3 asterisks are called wildcards. It means that whoever created this template said, hey, something has to be placed here. I need you to free text some information here. And from me looking at this line of text, I can see that there has to be a number that has to be placed here. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to want this patient to follow up in 3 months, or that's the instructions. I'm going to continue by F2 to go through. It takes me to that yellow smart list. And we know that yellow means I can only choose 1. So follow up in 3 months. So I'm going to go to months, left to pick, right to stick, and it's all done. My note is done for this template. Okay. So now I can go ahead and click accept. You might ask me, okay, well, you pulled in this template. Can I still add something here if I wanted to? Absolutely. You could free text if you needed to add anything. Okay. And go ahead and click accept. And now that note is complete. If you needed to edit it, you click on edit. If you needed to delete it because you have, for whatever reason, maybe you created this note erroneously, you can also delete it as well. If I was to click on delete, are you sure you want to delete this note? Delete note. And once you delete, you can't undo the action. So now it's showing that this note is deleted. There's a box here that shows, well, I wanted to show any of them deleted. I'm just going to click it off, right? But I want to show you something. So you remember we pulled in that template, right? I'm going to create the note again, and I'm going to use that note again. I'm going to use that. Just want to show you this because you probably will see this a few times that first week of go live and want to, wonder what is it that you've done wrong. So here it is. You've done all this. It gets busy and you forget to complete your F2 to go through. And you go ahead and you click accept and you're done. Guess what? You happen to look over and you say, wait a minute, what is that? See that stop sign? If I was to hover over it, what does it say? This note contains unresolved variables or smart lists. It means that I did not complete my passing through my F2. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It will take me back in and I can go ahead and F2 to go through. and it'll take me to those places that need to be completed. Any questions regarding notes? Okay, no questions? Let me make sure that we covered everything in smart phrases. If you want, you can take like a minute to just play around in Note for a minute. I'm going to set you up in.
We have one question too, if you want to quickly show. They ask, can a note be printed?
Can a note be printed? Yes, I do believe so. Hold on. We would actually go to our chart review. Go to note. Oh, finally it came up. So you remember when we did the, what was it? Care Everywhere? The patient has a chart from My Org ACE3. That was that other organization that we wanted to pull. We'll click on that momentarily. I'm just going to X out of that for now. But here's notes. I want to believe that you can. Yeah, you can. See? Print the current report. Yes, you can. Now, if you notice that this is there is this yield sign. The only reason why it's yielding, you could always hover over to see. It says sign when signing the visit. So that's how what you have set up for your note. Hold on. Let me show you. So yes, the question to that answer is yes, you can print out the note. So here it is. Let's go to edit. It is set to sign when signing the visit. So once the doctor signs the visit, your note will be signed. If you want to change it to sign on saving the note, you can do that as well. Or maybe you're in the middle of the note and you're not ready, or maybe you got interrupted and you need to complete another task, you can pend on saving the note and go back to finish it. Okay. But yes, in answer to that question, you can print a note. All right. So you've done your note. Let me see something I want to interject here. So let's say the provider placed an order for you to administer the varicella vaccine. Order's been placed, but you haven't had a chance yet to pick up that order, right? Because it gets busy. So you didn't do it just right away. But you have some doctors who as soon as they're done with the visit, they want to be able to sign that visit, sign their encounter off and be done. If the tasks that have been placed are not completed, then what happens is the doctor is not able to sign the visit. They will get an error and pretty much that says, hey, I know you want to sign this visit, but you have some tasks that haven't been completed. Which now, think about it, Kendall, now I know why there's sometimes what doctors do, and I always used to wonder why they do it. Now I know why. Just talking about it, that this is probably why they like to place things on future, because if it's on future, then they can go ahead with their visit. But that is not the correct workflow, everyone. We're going to make sure we do the correct thing, which is whatever orders that they sign for the current encounter, that is how we're doing things. But just so you know, the provider is not able to sign or close out that visit until all tasks are completed. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So any questions regarding notes? Documenting notes. Well, let me see if I could show you a couple of tricks too. Let me see, edit. Let's edit. Let's say, well, this already has your name, but there are like these different call outs. Again, I don't know all of them, but you can do your own research and find them. Like for instance, if I was to type .name, right? This is the name of the patient. So if I wanted to type something about this patient, I could just type .name and continue my note. If I want to sign it, I believe it's .me for me, that's me. And there's some other things too, like, maybe you had to write a note where you had to put in the vital signs. I believe it's .vs. Is it .vs? Current vital signs. right? So there are a lot of different things you just got to play around with it. I don't have a full list. The email that I will be sending you for the post class, I think I have in there some things that you can take a look at to play around with as far as playing around with the different smart text and the like. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and click accept. All right, so that ends notes. We're gonna now go into managing the in basket. Oh no, before I do that, let me close this. Go to wrap up. So wrap up is the activity where we're actually wrapping up the visit for the patient. But also under wrap up, you can find the section for communications. If you need to send off a communication for a general school excuse or work excuse note, if you notice here, there's even here for under quick communications where a chart can be CC'd to the actual PCP. If you needed to create a new communication, you can click on new communication, and there are buttons here to where you would send, this communication to. You remember I showed you free text under chart review. You can do a free text to a user or print for a patient. And in your department, they may have already created some communications that you can utilize. Right? Here's a result letter. I don't even know what that looks like, which will have, of course, the New York Presbyterian logo and the address of the facility. Can you edit this here? Absolutely. I can go in here and delete, go back. Right? We can go in here and free text as well. Okay. But I'm going to cancel this. Nope, I don't want to save it. All right, so you can look into quick communications. Patient instructions, if by chance, you are one to add patient instructions, you can by going into wrap up under patient instructions. So here's Nadir. Maybe you've given some sort of instructions on diabetes. He does drink. So let's see if we could find something on alcohol and diabetes. So we do have some here. We have some matches here. We have one in English and in Spanish, right? So I'm going to click the one in English and click accept, right? Also, you can find clinical references type of instructions, diagnosis related documentation we can find here, right? So he had a fever. We could add that as a general information, right? Add it to patient instructions. Hyperlipidemia. Let's give him some general information, right? And so now we have patient instructions here. Oops. I'm not sure, I can show you where follow-up is, but you might not be the one to do it unless maybe you do some sort of nurse education, maybe where you can put in the follow-up instructions. So let's say, just for the sake of doing this, you want the patient to come back in 3 months. Maybe you gave the patient depot, right? So your follow-up is to be in 3 months. Patient came in to have the depot given, and you can go ahead and type. You could either click on 3 months, or like I told you before, you could do M+3, 3 months. And a little note if you had to, and any additional details as well. And even, let's say maybe you even need to route this information to let's say for depot, the OB/GYN provider, you might want to forward some sort of information regarding this follow-up. You can do that as well. After follow-up, we have charge capture. This is what I was telling you about with charge capture. So here in charge capture, those things that we talked about, the administration of medication and immunizations, is usually, dropped here for capture, on the charge capture. I'm trying to think of something that, let's say, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now, but if you had to add a new charge, you would just search for it here, right? And once that is done, we can close the chart because we're not responsible for signing the visit or anything like that. If you wanted to see what the after visit looks like, Yeah, we know. This is what the after visit summary looks like. It will have all the vitals, everything that was done today for this patient. And look at those instructions that you dropped in there. Okay. Any questions? Any questions at all? Are we good, Kendall?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Again, in regarding to the after visit summary, it depends on what the workflow is at your facility. Maybe the front desk is the one who prints out the AVS. Maybe it's the provider who does it. All I would need to do is just show you the possibility. If it's you, then that's where you would go to print it. Depending on your facility, you know, they will work out whatever the workflow is in regards to who actually is responsible for printing that out. Okay. All right. So that was notes. They have no questions on notes. Let's go into the in basket. So in the in basket, again, as I stated before, in basket is considered to be your task management tool, right? It is not email. It is to be treated as such, your task management tool. And the first thing I wanted to show you is, let's see. I want to show you some of the different parts. So here in basket, we have the in basket toolbar. This is your toolbar. You can actually create a new message to the staff, right? You can also send a message to a patient if they have Connect. This is your refresh button, your preferences. You can search. We'll go over quick actions momentarily. And there's attach and out. So here for attach, and again, you know, I'm going to show this to you, but you know, you still got to talk to your management into finding out what is their plan for attach and out, if they even plan to use it. But for attach, for instance, let's say, you know, you have a buddy and the two of you are like, look, let's help each other out with this in basket. You can attach and grant access to someone to help you out with your in basket. Word to the wise, however, if you do something like that, please remember this. There is no electronic automatic communication that will be sent to that individual to let them know, hey, you know, I have attached myself or attached you to my in basket, you know, help me along, please. You have to have a verbal communication and let that individual know. And the same goes for out. So here in out, this is for, well, you know, I don't know if it will be used among nurses, to be truthfully honest. Probably will be. Yeah, I think it will be, because if a nurse is out for 2 weeks on vacation and any correspondence or task comes through, whether the provider doesn't remember that that person is on vacation or not, you can put in what is called an out of contact person. So let's say I'm going to be away for 5 weeks. I wish. And the reason that I'm out, my comment may be vacation, 5 weeks vacation. I will put in that start time and I will put in the end time. So if my end time would be November 2nd and I'm returning November 3rd, then my end time would be November 3rd and whatever the time is. And so if it's November 3rd at 9 o'clock, that's my end time. So then I will start getting those tasks in. But if I'm out, I would have my covering pool. Maybe for a nurse, it will be a pool. I'll tell you more about pools a little later, but you would make sure that you put this out of contact occasion completed. And also, once again, have a conversation with your team, right? No one should you know, be receiving things in their in basket and not have that conversation prior to. We're a team, so you're going to go ahead and talk to the, you know, your team and say, look, I'm going to be out on vacation. I've put up an out of contact person, and boom, at least the conversation was had, communication has been made. Okay. Same thing with providers. I teach this with providers as well. You may have a provider who's out of contact and may, you know, maybe certain, you know, certain tasks they will have sent to the nurses pool. You know, hopefully they will be kind enough to have that conversation with the nursing staff. Okay. All right. So that's out of contact. Here below over to the left, you'll see a list of all the different folders and all the different type of messages or tasks within those folders, but we'll take a look at that momentarily. And down here below, you remember I told you about symbols? If there are any symbols, there's always a legend. And here are some legends here that you can take a look at, right? If you notice, there is these question marks. If I didn't know what it was, you remember the first line of rhyme, hover to discover. So here it shows me this question mark. It says nobody has taken the baton. So then this lets me know this is part of a pool of some kind. And so no one has taken the responsibility for this particular task. So I have a choice. I could click on it, which means that I've taken the responsibility, or if I mistakenly did that, I can click it to put it back. Okay. We've already clicked on it, so let me just at least show you a little bit here. So here it is. We've clicked on a result note. And here in this result note, I can see, number one, a mini storyboard. I can see information regarding this patient, right? I can see the patient info, demographics, emergency contacts, preferred pharmacy, and care team. Next tab, meds and problems. And I said this before, the great thing about the in basket is I don't have to close this out and find go someplace else to find information. Everything is here within a click of my mouse. I could take a look at labs and vitals on this patient, even a last note if there was one. And if you receive a message or a task rather in the in basket and you're not sure what to do with it, you have help. Help will help you figure out, what do I need to do with this message? I received it, but what do I do with it? Okay. I want to feel like somebody have been using my, somebody been using it. Okay, whatever. All right, so here it is. We have result notes, and then on top of here, these are what you call the results taskbar, the taskbar, in this case, results taskbar. But let's take a look first at, we're going to take a look at result note. Let me see if that, we're going to follow up on some result messages. So I'm going to open up first the results folder. And results messages are generated automatically when a diagnostic result is entered into the system. Normally, result messages are sent to the authorizing provider. More often, the provider will route the results to support staff to contact the patient in the form of a result note message, which we will see soon. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Shonda. And as we know, the universal icon for abnormal is the red exclamation mark, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click once on Shonda. And here is the CBC. I can take a look at that. Abnormal is a final result. Also lets us know that the patient is inactive for Connect. And now we're going to go ahead and write a result note, save it to the patient chart. And I can also show you how it can be routed to another clinician or released to patient results. So here it is. I'm going to double click. And it opens up to result note. And here it is. I'm going to just work on the abnormal. Here is the result note, and it's the route box is now checked off as a default. So this determines whether the result note is also sent as an in-basket message to somebody else. Let's say that I do want to route it. I want to route it to the doctor. So I'm going to route my result note to my doctor that I'm working with. And the note that I'm going to write right here is patient recalled as per MD's instruction. Okay. Now, let's say this is something I always do. You know, I can actually create a quick action there's a couple of things here I can do, as a matter of fact. One, let's say before I even do the quick action, if this is something that I'm always typing, guess what? Let's create a smart phrase, right? You see how I did that? I right click in the selection, scroll down to smart phrases, create a smart phrase from selected text. Continue. There that is. Give it a name. CLJ recall AM abnormal instruction. I'm just going to write that for now, right? I'm going to go down here and click accept. And now I always will have that smart phrase. How do I know? Let's go to my bag. Let's go to my guy who's holding my bag. And you see CLJ recall and abnormal instructions. I'm just going to close it for now. But I can even go further than that. I want that every time, since this is something that I do, every time that I get one of these abnormals and I'm already know the instruction is I have to recall the patient, I want to create a quick action where it makes it faster and easy for me to do those tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and click on abnormal because I really want to do it for abnormals. And yes, I'm always going to route it. If this is the doctor that I'm always that I'm working with, this is how I'm going to set this up right now. And also, let's see what else. Let me move this out the way. I have stuff here in the way. What else can I do here? So I'm going to go ahead and make this a high. Make sure it's a high priority. And I'm going to save it as a quick action. Do you want to create a quick action? Yes. Continue. The name of this is CLJ abnormal. We're going to call this abnormal CLJ abnormal recall. Let's call it that. So I have the choice of showing the note before filing, right? I could also mark the message as done when I am finished, but I'm not going to do that right now. The results that I'm selecting are abnormal, and I'm routing it as a high priority to Dr. Finn. This is my note. This is all part of my quick action. If I want to add something else here, I could, right? If this patient had connect, there's also a note here I can also create in my quick action. But for now, this is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and click accept. So I've created my quick action. I've completed my result note. Let's just go ahead and click accept. All right. It's pending because there is an action involved with this, which is it was routed to the provider. So now let's see what this looks like. So I've already done that. If I was to go here where we can see the actual result note, right? But let's go ahead and do it from the beginning. So here it is. I have a list here. I have here that I have to take care of this result. It's abnormal. I took taken a look at it. Okay, I know what I need to do with this. I'm going to go ahead and use my quick action. I can go here or I can click here. CLJ abnormal recall. Click on it. Nothing else for me to do here but click accept. Finish. Done. That's a quick action. Quick actions are really, really great tools that you can utilize. You can utilize for those most mundane parts of our job, which is sending out these recall letters and the like. But play around with it. You will find other uses for your quick action. Any questions regarding results and creating result notes? Any questions whatsoever? We're good, Kendall?
Yes, do check the chat though.
Do check the chat. Okay. Chat. Okay, no problem. All right, so that was the result note messages. I want to take you to a pool message. Let's see, just so we go over that again. So again, anytime you see a question mark, right? Anytime you see a question mark, we know that this is part of a pool. So the question might be, how do you claim responsibility for a pool message in a basket folder? You would click on the question mark icon. This is letting me know that if I click on it, no one has taken the baton as yet. So now me clicking on it, I am giving it, I'm going to take responsibility for it. Okay. All right. The next thing I want to show you really quickly is telephone encounters. So if a patient calls, We take messages all the time. Patient calls and, you know, there's some sort of information that's either going to be given from us or given to us. What I want everyone to do is that when you receive a telephone call, ask yourself, what is this? Is this going to be a plain telephone encounter where I have to take some information? Or is this going to be a refill encounter? Or is this going to be a referral encounter? Okay, so let's say the patient calls you. A patient calls, you say, hi. You're going to go right under the Epic toolbar button. And under the toolbar button, you're going to look for the patient care button. Patient care, this is where you decide whether or not, is this a regular telephone call? Is this a refill medication? Or this is about a referral request? So far in having this conversation with the patient, it's a telephone call. Patient wants to give some information. I'm going to go ahead and search for my patient, right? Because I'm taking a telephone call. For now, for me, I'm going to use Peggy Express Lane. So here it is. I am creating this telephone encounter. Patient is letting me know, have some information to give me, right? So here it opens up the call intake activity tab. Here it is. We're under contacts. It's an incoming call, right? If it was a call that I sent or I called the patient, I would use outgoing. But in this case, I'm taking an incoming call. I've taken the incoming call, and now we're going to fill out a couple of fields. It is Miss Peggy that I'm speaking to on the phone. Miss Peggy, just in case we get disconnected, what is the number I can reach you at? Is this your correct number? Yes. If there were any contact comments, we can add that as well. Go ahead and click accept. The next thing we're going to see is the reason for the call. Why is this patient calling? Okay, the patient is calling because she has a headache. So I'm going to type headache. She's calling about a headache. Right? And we could put a comment here. Patient states having a headache. She wants to know if she can take Tylenol. Okay. Okay, that's my comment. Okay, so now that I have added that reason, I can now go ahead and continue by doing some documentation if I want. Patient, oops, would like to make an appointment. I don't know, that's what I'm just putting in documentation. But while we're talking to this patient, and it happens all the time, it turns out from one thing to the next. Patient now states, you know what? I have some medication that I would like to refill. Can I get a refill on that medication, that Proventil that I take? Now this phone call, telephone encounter has changed on us, right? It's no longer just a plain telephone encounter, information being taken. It's now become this refill encounter. Well, here's the key to this. One telephone call, one encounter. You've already started with this telephone call. It's just as easy to do the refill. Do not create two encounters for a telephone call. Patient calls, it's just a straightforward thing. It's a telephone encounter. But it can switch up in the middle of the conversation to end up being a refill, right? And that's easy enough to do because now, okay, no problem, Miss Peggy, let me go and take a look at your medications. So we're going to go to meds and orders because now that telephone call has now changed on us where now the patient wants to get a refill. So here we're under medication and orders. We're going to load the meds. And here is that medication that she wants refilled. So now what are we going to do? I'm going to go over here to that half or that circular arrow and click reorder. Right? Now in the real world, right, I shouldn't have to see all of this, nor am I responsible to fill this out. So I'm just going to go ahead, let me move this out the way, and just click accept. The doctor will take care of all of that. I don't even have to click on pend because the next thing that I need to do is route it to the doctor. So I'm just going to click on route. I'm going to route it to the doctor, MD05. Okay. I'm going to put in any routing comments here. Patient states need refill on Proventil going on vacation for 6 months out of the country. Okay. I've now routed this to the MD. Okay. And I can even route it as an RX request because it is an RX request. Okay. Once I have done that, all I need to do now is send and close the workspace. I could also click accept on this. That's my note, and send and close the workspace. Okay. So now I have an open telephone encounter, right? From Peggy Lane. I have an open telephone encounter. Now, what happens to it? It's a refill. Mind you, it started off as a telephone encounter, but you know how this works. It turns out to be one thing to something else once you start talking to the patient. So now I'm going to just secure this really quick. You don't have to follow for this. I'm just going to do this real quick. So now I'm the doctor and I go into my in basket. I'm going to go into my in basket and I see there's an RX request. There's the RX request that you sent out, right? So now I'm going to click on it. And what am I going to do with it? I see that there's a message here. Patient states need refill and Proventil. And I also see there's a message here regarding the headache. So now I've got some things I got to do. So I'm going to either edit the RX, refuse all, refuse and route. I'm just going to go ahead and approve all of it. Approve all. Okay. 4 times a day. And once again, this is his responsibility, which I'm doing now, right? And indications for asthma, e-prescribed. Everything looks good here. The doctor accepts the order. He's approved it, right? And he can even write a note in the patient's chart, right? So he proved it all. And the recipient is the person who's actually sent it out, which was me. And if there were any routing comments, I can then say have patient, I don't know, have patient. Forget it. All right, so he's done. I'm going to go ahead now and sign and route. Okay. So now I'm going to go back now as the nurse so you can see what that looks like. Here is my open telephone encounter. And where is it? Go. There it is. The RX response. And as a matter of fact, the encounter is closed. This is new too. But anyway, when the doctor signed it, there was a little box there for whether or not the encounter was to be closed. The way it really supposed to work is that he can complete that order and then the encounter is supposed to stay open so I can go back and speak to the patient. But in this case, it's RX response. Patient, he states, have patient see neurologist for headache, and he's already approved that medication. Okay. If I want to addend it, because I want to be able to document that I called the patient after this, I can go ahead and create a note and sign the addendum, right? I've actually signed, I could actually go ahead and add an outgoing call that I spoke to the patient. Okay. Any questions regarding that in-basket telephone encounter workflow at all? I will also send some information for you to read up on it so you can practice on your own in the playground. Kendall, have I missed out on anything? I think I've covered everything.
Pretty much so.
Okay. So let me go over a couple of more review questions really quick. It is now what time? 2:24. I got a few minutes. So let's see what questions. Let me ask this question. What does the mortar and pestle icon in the meds due column of the schedule symbolize? Is it A, the support staff ordered a medication that is pending the approval of the physician? Is it B, the patient has brought in a patient supplied drug? Is it C, a clinic administered drug was ordered and is waiting for administration? Or is it D, the provider ordered medications for the patient from an internal pharmacy? What does the mortar and pestle icon in the meds due column of the schedule symbolize? Okay, I'll read it again. What does the mortar and pestle icon in the meds due column of the schedule symbolize? Is it A, the support staff ordered a medication that is pending the approval of the physician? Is it B, the patient has brought in a patient supplied drug? Is it C, a clinic administered drug was ordered and is waiting for administration? Or is it D, the provider ordered medications for the patient from an internal pharmacy? And if you have chosen C, you are correct. A clinic administered drug was ordered and is waiting for administration. Great. Let me show you this really quick because I'm going over some things and I realized that maybe we didn't see this. So if you have taken a look at the result message, okay, you've already looked at it. There's nothing left for you to do to it. I'm just going to type this real quick. I'm not routing it anywhere. And just do this quickly. Accept. When you are done, you should be able to click on done. But it's not allowing us here to do. So a question that you might get is if you go to your in-basket and open the result message for a particular patient, you write a result note stating that you called the patient. What would you do after writing that note? You would actually click done. Okay. Here's another thing to go over. Hold on. Let's see. Let me do this. So let's say I am going to result this note, but I want to route this message to, I did go over this in the very, very beginning, but as a quick review, if I'm going to route it to a pool, right? Maybe the pool of nurses, right? There is a way to invoke to a pool. And to do that, you have to type the letter P followed by the space, by a space and the name of the pool. So my pool's name is TRN nurse. Okay. So if you want to send a message, hint, hint, to a pool, you have to first type the letter P followed by the space and the name of the pool. Okay. All right. One more thing. We're going to really go quickly over. Let me see if I can find it. This one. Why did it go all the way to the top? 1 second. There we go, writing notes. So you remember we went over the smart tools, a smart text, right? You search in the insert smart text field. If you wanted, we did a search for, I did a search for that refill text note. You can use that search field that is found amongst your smart tools. You smart list, remember we press F2 to open up the first complete list, and we will left to click to pick it and right click to stick it. Wildcards are 3 asterisks. Smart links are short phrases that we actually use. We type the period followed by the link name. And also smart phrases, a short phrase that expand into a longer block of text that we use as we type the period followed by the phrase name. Do you recall how to create a smart phrase? Please quickly in the chat. How do you create a smart phrase? Remember, I went over it like 3 or 4 different times. Yep, highlight is the first part. Yep. Then what? After you highlight it, what do? Not quite save, but you remember, think of the steps. You're highlighting that text, right? Right? You can, but you're not, but that's not how you create. That's how you get. Thank you. You can click on that green plus sign, highlight. You can highlight the text you want and click the green plus sign, or highlight it and right click and choose create smart phrases. Okay. How do you summon a smart phrase or smart link? Do you remember? How do you summon a smart phrase? How do we get to a smart phrase or a smart link? My initials. Right. Enter a period followed by the name of the phrase or the link. Dot, then phrase. Yep. How do you select values from a smart list? Come on, guys. How do you select values from a smart list? Right? F2 to open. Then what? Then what? You get to that smart list. How do I choose anything in that smart list? There's a line of rhyme in there. Kinda, sorta. It rhymes with, all right, left to pick, F2 to open, left click to pick, and right click to stick. Very good. What is the difference between blue and yellow smart lists? I said it a few times. Okay, very good. Right. So the difference is the blue are multiple select and the yellow are single select. And if you couldn't remember that, remember this. Blue, ocean blue. There are many oceans and waters to cross. Many in the blue. But yellow, there's one moon and there is one sun. So I can either be in the day or in the night, but not both. Okay, one sun, choose one sun or the moon, but many oceans I may cross. Okay. All right. Medication order detail, managing an in basket. Yeah, we go there. Remember, pools and responsibility. If you see a question mark, that's a work assigned to your pool. And in order to claim responsibility, you'll click on it. And that question mark will then turn into a plus sign because you have taken responsibility. If it's in your pool and somebody else have taken the responsibility, you will see that minus sign. If a work was assigned to you, you will see this green little dot next to the message and so on. Okay. All right. That ends our review. Any questions of anything that we have gone over before we get started on the exam? I want to say it's 2:34. Kendall, can we give them 5 minutes to stretch and then come back and we can get them started on the exam?
Yes, but 5 minutes exact.
Yeah, exactly. 5 minutes exact. This exam is a half an hour. So take your 5 minute break. Let me see. Let's make that 2:40. Come back at 2:40. 2:40. All right. So now what we're going to go ahead and do, so this class ends at 3:30. I have already received in chat where someone stated that they needed to do, they had some duties that they have to do, um, picking up their children, which I understand. However, it was noted that this class ends at 3:30. We do give a half an hour. Well, you're going to get a little bit more than a half an hour for the exam. Um, if you are unable to take this exam today, then the only thing I can tell you is this. You are to be sure to communicate with me via email when you are taking the test. As of today, anyone who is taking the test, whether now or at a later time, you are to send me via email your scores so that we can make sure that in your profile that you get credit for it, and so that your curriculum will be successfully completed. Okay, so if you are unable for whatever reason, not able to do this, then please make sure you communicate to me. I usually keep the exam open for at least one day and then I close it. So please make sure, it's very important that you communicate with me when you do take the exam. But for everyone else here, we're going to go ahead and get started in getting you all started to take the exam. So before we do all of that, I have to ask this question. Are you ready? Are you ready? Do you feel empowered enough to like really do this test? Put it in the chat. Come on, let's pump this up right now. Are you ready? Are you ready? Like The Rock says, I don't want to hear kinda. I want to hear yes with conviction, like Edith. She put it in all caps. Yes. Ebony, I don't want to hear all that. I want to hear yes, we're ready. We are ready. Okay. All right. Oh. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So just so you know, okay, in this exam, okay, you're there, but I give the pin when everybody's there at the same time. Okay. So with this exam, there are some chart related questions. So it's very important that you do have the EPIC. We've been working out of it all, morning into the afternoon. So you shouldn't have any issues going into EPIC. You'll have to toggle. If you don't have two screens, you will have to toggle back and forth, use your Alt Tab key to toggle back and forth between the exam and the EPIC screen. Okay. You're going to read the questions carefully. Anything that's chart related, you're just going to navigate in the chart to find that answer. Okay, so now what I want everyone to do, please go to your learning center. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go to our learning center. The easiest and the fastest way to do this is to go to Infonet. I think that's just so much easier and faster. So if you can get to your Infonet, and when you go to the Infonet, there are these things called the quick links to the side. You will see Learning Center. You will click on Learning Center. You will go in with your CWID. And once you go there, you're going to click on those, we call it the hamburger. I don't know why we call it that, but we're going to click on those three lines and go to Me. And once you have done that, you will go ahead and you will look for the ambulatory nurse share curricula. I don't have it, of course. And you will look for the test. Once you are there and it asks for your PIN, when you ask for the PIN, I'll give you the PIN once I know that everyone is there together. Can we ask for assistance throughout the exam? You can ask for assistance. We won't give you the answer, but you can ask for assistance. We try to help, try to help you along. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute so I can make sure I get the PIN. Let's find this PIN. Today is the 22nd. All right, is everybody there? Okay. Who is not seeing it? Let me see. Hold on. Naikwa, give me a moment. I will speak to you to the side momentarily. Let me just get everyone else set up, okay? Okay, I see a lot of people say that they are not. What exactly, maybe you want to unmute yourself and you can tell me what issue that you are having. So let's start with Janine Gonzalez. Unmute yourself, please. Hello?
Hi, you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, I
Hi.
can. Yes.
I don't see, I'm in plan. I go to me, my plan, and all I do see is the live virtual training for today. When I launch that, it just says that I can print my certificate. I don't see anything else.
All right, let me ask you something. Can you share your screen?
I don't know if I can. I mean, how can I do
Are
that?
you on
Just
Zoom? Are
thinking.
you on Zoom? You're in a
I
Zoom,
am.
right?
I
All right,
am.
so on the bottom, there should be a button there for share screen. Do you see it?
Yes, I do.
Click on that, please, and
I
just share
got
your
it.
screen with me. Kendall, just let
Okay.
me know if if anyone else is having issues. So you see where it says that's the survey. You see where the third one, it says Epic Go Live, Epic Care Ambulatory.
Yeah.
You're gonna click on that link. Nope. Click on the hyperlink.
Okay.
Once you have done that, you see where it says assessment. You can click on launch. Go down to the bottom. Assessment. You can click either
Gotcha.
on that link or click on launch.
This one here, right? The last
Yep.
one, the third one here?
Yep. And once you've
Okay.
done that, it'll ask you for the PIN.
Okay.
All
Gotcha.
right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Kendall, is everybody else okay?
No, we still have a couple trying to figure it out.
Okay, who else? Anybody else wants to share their screen so we could take a look at it? If you want us to take a look at it, yes, you're waiting for the PIN. Give me a moment, please. Just want to make sure everybody is on the same page. If you still need some help, please go ahead and share your screen so we can take a look at it to help you out. I got it. I got it. Everybody else is good, right? All right. Let me see. What
Wait,
did I
no,
say?
not yet. Allison, I did say please share your screen then. I think we still have 2 or 3 people.
All right. So Allison, go ahead and share your screen, please. There should be at the bottom a share screen button. Go ahead and share, please. Do you see it, Allison? That share screen button on the bottom of your Zoom. Or click Alt S, the Alt key and the S key. Or Allison. Okay, good. All right. So where are you at this point? Let's go to Infonet. Could you take me to your Infonet? See where it says Infonet Home all the way to the left? Go all the way to the left, up, all the way to the left. Infonet Home, all the way to the left. Right. Infonet Home, right. Click there. You're going to go to quick links all the way to the left again. Come down, quick links, Learning Center. Okay. Click all the way up to the left. There are three, the hamburger. Yep. Click on that. Click on me. And now you are going to see the third down, Epic Go Live, Epic Care Ambulatory. Click on the link, not to your right, not to your right, to your left, the hyperlink with the title, Move your cursor for a minute. Right, now go back to that link where the title is. Yeah, click on it. You should see your hand. Right, you just missed it again. Right, click on that. Then you see where it says assessment all the way down to the bottom. See where it says assessment? Go over to your right. You see where it says launch? You're going too far. Launch. Click. Click right there and launch. And then you're going to get the pin. Okay, I'll give you the pin momentarily. Anyone else? Anyone else?
One more person, but I hope everyone else was watching because it will be the same process.
Right.
Whoever else is not able to get there yet, please go ahead and try sharing your screen. And Allison, can you stop sharing yours?
Right. Who else needs to share their screen quickly?
I'm trying.
Hi, who is this?
Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Hi,
So,
how are you?
all right. You're having issues?
Yeah, I think I might be where I'm supposed to be, but I'm not sure. So I just need you to just to confirm for me.
Can you share your screen?
I think I'm doing it. You press the share button, right? Am I not sharing it?
No, I don't. So type Alt S. I think Alt S will help you too. Alt S.
Hmm,
If you're in the Zoom window, you should see it.
yeah,
But I don't see your screen.
yeah. I pressed the share screen. I did the Alt S. Did
Right.
all
So
that
once
stuff.
you do the share screen, it should open up another window to show you the window that you need to share. So you got to choose a window to share.
Oh, okay. No, I don't want that one.
Okay. So I see your desktop.
That's not what I want to share. Obviously, Angela. Here we go.
Okay. So now you, for some reason, you're in the someplace else and we don't want you there. So go back to return to curriculum. You see the, yep. All right. See where it says assessment all the way down to the bottom? You're going to launch it. See where the launch on the right?
Yes. This one.
That's where you,
And I'm clicking this.
you're just going to click on launch.
But that's what I clicked. Not the hyperlink. Am I doing this?
All right, let's go back again.
See, this is
Return to curriculum. Return to curriculum.
I'm trying.
All right. I'm not sure what's going on. So let's go back to me. Go back to me. Click on the three lines.
It's right there, the last one at the bottom.
Let's, where are we? All right. So now when you come over, let's see, not the post-class survey. Right here, the third one. On the third one, you're going to click on the hyperlink. Yep. Click on that. And instead of clicking on launch, don't click on launch. Don't click on launch. click on the hyperlink where it says Epic Care Ambulatory under the assessment. Nope.
This one.
That one.
This
Yes.
one.
Yep.
This
Click
one,
on that.
okay.
Yes. Yep. Click on
Okay.
that. All right. Now you're where you need to be, which is that nurse shared UPA. Click on launch.
Okay.
Okay,
There we go.
you're good to go. All right. Is everybody good? Kendall, can
Thank
we
you.
go ahead and share the pin?
Thank you.
Yes, we look good to go. I don't see any more no's.
Okay, everybody ready? All right, I'm gonna go
Oh, okay.
ahead
Go to this.
and let's mute them, please. All right.
Did I miss it then?
So let's
Hey,
go
Colin.
ahead. Yeah, I see. I realize that. So here what we're gonna do, here's the pin, exactly how you see it. If it's in caps, that is how you're gonna type it. So Control V, ECAMB 100 UPA. That is the pin. Good luck to everyone. When you are done, please remember to email me your scores. If you did not pass the first time, it's okay. You can do it a second time. However, don't be so quick to do it a second time. First, go over those questions that you got wrong. All right, Kendall and I are here if you need our help or assistance. All right, so I'm looking in the chat and I see that, some folks may have had an issue. I see here one states that they didn't have a patient. If you're referring to the schedule, I mean, there's ways to work around that. If they're asking you a particular question, let's say the question is regarding Nancy. Okay, Nancy's not on your schedule. How else would you find that information, right? You can go into where? You can go and you can search for that patient's chart and then pull that patient. So just to let you know, all of the patients that, that whether it's on your schedule or not, don't forget you were all given that user ID with a last name. So whatever the last name is that you were given, that's the same last name of the patient. So you can do a search that way, or you can just look for that particular patient. It doesn't matter what their last name is because they're all the same. Okay. How is everyone doing? Everyone's all right? Folks, if you cannot find Neil on your schedule, again, where would you find Neil if you didn't find him on your schedule? Where would you go? If you do not find a particular patient on your schedule, where would you find him or her? Yes, if you have completed the exam, you can leave. Be sure to email me your results, please. I don't need the certificate, I just need your results. If you've completed your exam and you've sent me your result, yes, you are free to go. Happy Friday, all. If you've completed your exam, please make sure you send me your score and you are free to leave. Good luck. Kendall, I'm stepping out for a minute. I'm going into a breakout room to assist one of the trainees. Ema, please join me in the breakout room, room 2. Join me in the breakout room. If you accidentally log out of the test, if you go back and log in, it should take you back to from where you left off.
All right, so we still have a few more people. How are you guys doing?